My name is Jamie Morris, and alongside me tonight is Ivan. How are you doing?
I'm doing great actually. Yeah, this is my first time doing commentary in SFR and it's the last race, so I'm happy to be here and I'm just gonna have fun for the final race of the season. So yeah, we'll make the best of it.
And we've got a championship fight because with 16 rounds of wheel-to-wheel action, for race strategy calls and high-pressure qualifying battles, the championship is on a knife edge for fucking aim, as Farblaze is just 3 points behind. But Kinane, representing Alpine, has always shown flashes of brilliance all season. He's taking race wins, executed bold moves under pressure, and definitely climbed his way towards the championship at the top end as well. So Kinane and Farblaze are the ones to watch here tonight because those two will be going hammer and tong throughout the whole race, and I cannot see what happen. We'll see what happens here today.
Yeah, I'm expecting a great battle between the two championship contenders, as I saw George spinning in the Williams on his outlap, but nothing to worry about there for him. As we see the first few drivers heading into the first laps, and we'll see where they end up in their first runs of qualifying.
Yeah, so on board with the racing board, and I think that is across the water line. Is it a racing board? I'm quite sure with the different colours, but yeah, it's a racing board of Velocio Jr. The man's at Division 2, has picked up multiple race wins this season, and he's here in Division 1. Let's see what he can do as we head down towards Turn 3. Just trail braking, make sure that don't look at the fronts too much as we go in towards 5 now. 4, 5, the loop, just sweeping around the loop with the DRS wide open once again, and on the throttle immediately. But this seems like it's a cautious approach there from Velocio Jr. It's not really taking much of a risk, really. So I think this is the first exploratory lap time at 27.4 in the first sector for Velocio Jr. as he continues then in towards Luffield, but a slight compromised entry towards Luffield, in towards Brooklands, gave a bit of a misguided line through Luffield as well. So here we are at Woodcut, the old famous pit straight that was the last time we raced around there. I think it was like 2008 in that layout, as we now make our way towards Copse, most famous for Verstappen and Hamilton making contact there back in 2021 with a ferocious championship battle between those two, as we see Velocio Jr. now flicking the car in, just absolutely precise there with the way he's steering. No multiple corrections on the steering like most people do if they get a slight mistake there, but nice ones flow the steering. And let's see what lap time he's going to set then as he makes his way down towards Stowe. We go, breaking the 50-metre board, down to the gears, just barely lift off through there as well. That's how much this game shows you how unrealistic this game can be sometimes. As Velocio Jr. is making his way towards the final few corners of this racetrack. Let's see where he can put himself. A bit of a moment out there, but here he is across the line now. He goes up into first with a 26.7.
Yeah, that's a decent lap time for him. And next car to cross the line is the Haas of William. What can he do? He goes P2 with a 27.4, just behind him with 3 tenths, and then Mercedes of Jensen also comes across the line with a 26.0, and that's a much better lap time from him. As now the Williams of George also has come across the line with a 27.0. Let's see who is in a flying lap. Fireblaze was in a flying lap, and he goes with provisional pole with a 25.9. Good lap time from him.
Yep, it's definitely a confidence booster because his main target is tonight is Kinane in P7. He has to beat him. He doesn't need to worry about other drivers, or the other drivers may interfere. But at the same time, all you need to do, try and get ahead of Kinane. It's easier said than done because Kinane has been supreme, so consistent. Let's talk about this driver for a second because he's been absolutely fantastic this season. When he got brought in at the back end last season, being a mid-reserve driver. He only joined mid-race as well, like laps 17 or 18, and round 17 or 18 possibly, and he's been exceptional, has Kinane. Absolutely mighty. His podium constant streaks have what got him up in the championship as well. Only having one win this season back at the Japanese Grand Prix, he's definitely shown some good pace and consistency from this. Let's see if he can keep it up then. As racing is making his way towards the number sets, and now going through Chapel, leans on the curb on the outside with the DRS wide open. Racing as well is also been to watch out for, but unfortunately he has had a few mistakes in the past. Almost got his first win back in the Dutch GP, but unfortunately it got taken away from him at the very last stage. Here comes racing then towards the final few corners. Last time at the Dutch GP, he picked up his first podium of the season as he collapsed the curb there. You want to make sure you have absolutely precision going towards the final few corners. And here comes racing towards the line. What's it going to be? At 25.9.
Yeah, and immediately his teammate is following up. Kaname goes P3 with a 26.0. And behind them is the Red Bull of Glock now, heading his way into the final corner. Going through Club, what is he going to do in the Red Bull? it's going to be a 26.5, and the McLaren of Adams is also now going to club. What can he do in the McLaren? Comes across the line, and it's a 27.1. Pretty big gaps through the entire field so far, but it's very close between the top 3, between the top 4 actually. That's just about more than a tenth.
Exactly, as well. Plus, you don't know the full fuel load, because I know people in the early stage of qualifying, they like to run heavy fuel as well to try and get a few bankers and get a feel for the track. But then, obviously, when it comes to the last stage of qualifying, that's when everybody puts on a brand new set of softs, and it's completely, out of fuel really. So barely in the balance towards the car, as now Kaname, we just saw go over to P3 ahead of Jensen. Laser in P6, however, I think he's on flying lap, but no, he's in the pit lane. Then in Glock, we just saw do a lap. So majority of drivers that are back in the pit lane, and somebody else, I think we moved the order. I'm quite sure who that was. MDJ, the Dutchman, goes over to P2.
Yeah, and that is all the first runs done, I guess. Let's see, nope, nobody on a run so far. Yes, we have a run. Oscar in the Williams is out there again, and he's on out lap, so I was wrong for that one. Do we have a constructors battle?
Yeah, I think we do. I think it's between Alpine, Mercedes, Red Bull a bit too far away, but yeah, we definitely have a battle going on. Not Ferrari this season; they've been out of it. With Fabulous, of course, his teammates dropping out of it. And we've got MDJ, the former runner-up in SFR. He knows what it's like to compete with the high end of the table. Mason, however, is going for a second lap. Kaname's going for a second lap on these soft compound tyres. Let's see what he does. Progressing down towards Brooklyn now. Few hundreds down, but that doesn't really matter for him because these tyres are 3 laps old, so he shouldn't really need to worry about that one as we make our way out of Luffield then. Swooping around his right-hander, we've seen many overtaking action here in the past history. Now coming towards Woodcut and the old pit lane straights as we make our way down towards Copston. Let's see if it takes it. It takes it flat out, I think. Yep, he does take it flat out there in these modern day Formula 1 cars in Silverstone, as we now watch him thread the needle through Maggie's and Chadbourne. But if you consider that his best lap time was done on old tyres, you can even imagine what he's going to do on new set of tyres, get himself into 25, plus the fuel lane not being as heavy as well.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Konami is on an improvement, but I think he's still gonna finish his lap. So now going in towards Stowe, and he is heading into the pits. So that's a lap down for him, and he is heading into the pits. Let's see who's on another flying lap. Oscar is on a lap with a 27.7 through the first sector, now going on the exit, and that's a pretty good diff for him there. Now heading towards Cops, where Lewis Hamilton managed to take the lead from Charles Leclerc in the final stages of the 2021 race. Flat out through here, and then in 7th gear and an odd lap, approaching Max and Beckett. Naker, oh, and he is cut all the corners. It was a valid lap so far, but that's a lap over for Oscar.
What Oscar likes to do, I forgot to mention this as well, but Oscar likes to start at the back of the field because he's done it. He's came back to the field multiple times as well, and it's been absolutely sensational to watch as well in terms of overtaking cars, getting the strategy right as well. So Oscar is headed back in the pit lane. We've got Rise and Star and Jensen, they're two teammates that haven't really been together. They worked so well in the first half, but when Jensen's absences, he left Rise and Star by himself as Jensen has invalidated the lap time. Rise and Star, who we know is a really good qualifier, taking pole multiple times around here in SFR Division 1 this season, but still hasn't got a race win under his belt, has the Mercedes driver still searching for the extra glory around here in Silverstone. Now, what's a place to do it as well, because this track heavily promotes overtaking and fantastic historic battles as well, and plenty of chaos during the race, even if it's raining as well, like it was last season when Lewis Hamilton took his 8th win at the British GP. And what a record that is as well. Hamilton winning after 2 years away in Saudi Arabia in 2021, but we don't want to don't want to mention that. But anyways, here comes Rise of Star towards the middle sector. It's going to be a tenth and a bit up in the middle sector there for Rise of Star, so he's got some mighty pace in that Mercedes. Can he keep it up though, heading towards the final few parts of this racetrack, heading into towards Stowe? No need to brake, just lift off the throttle there, although some people do take it full throttle out. I'm not quite sure how they do or not, but it's all about trusting the car and the setup as well. And here comes Rise of Star towards the final few corners. He needs to gently on the power before he can get on the lap pedal once and for all. Here he is towards the line. It's going to be a 25.933. And he goes quicker by Fireblaze by 4,000 of a second there. That is super close.
Yeah, what a lap from Rising Star. He is set the benchmark for the rest, as Fireblaze is now starting his lap now, coming down towards turn 3, trail braking into 3rd gear, and now trying to get the car a bit balanced, and he does so, and now heading towards the 1st DRS zone. There he opens his rear wing, still plenty of DRS to play with. So now goes down into 4th gear into Brooklands, in 5th gear actually. And now shifting back into 3rd gear, gently on the throttle, and that is, I didn't saw his sector time, so I don't know if he's up or down. I was too focused on himself driving. So now goes, oh, and he has a big moment into Cobb's corner, and he loses it, and he's very lucky to not hit the wall there.
How on earth did you lose it to a cross corner? Because that's not a place ideally you see people spinning anymore. That was like in the old games where balance used to be a thing. But spinning in Cobbs right there, is it the pressure mounted out to? Because there's a lot of pressure tonight for Fireblaze as well. Because he's been in like 3 or 4 championship fights in a different league, lost all of them, and he possibly wants a victory here as well to try and get the championship away from Kaname. But Kaname's a mighty driver; he will never ever give up, and that's why he's one of the best out there as well this season. His consistency has been absolutely flawless this season as well. The way he's picked up podiums as well, even not the right strategy. Still got a good pace and also picked up those podiums, which is very crucial for the championship fight. But the past few races are done. It's now to the present at the British GP, the home of motorsport, to see which one will take the crown after this race. Will it be Fireblaze? Will it be Kaname? Or will it be Laser out of a mathematical possible chance, but not likely anyways, because I don't think these two are going to DNF, and Laser needs to finish P2 as well. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, and I can't wait to see what happens. Here comes racing towards the line now. What can he do in the Alpine? He goes up into first. It's a 25.731, and that is a mega lap time there from racing as well, trying to get his second pole off the season, but others are hunting him down.
Yeah, his teammate Kaname is the next one to come across the line in 4th gear. Little bit of a moment on the exit, but what can he do? He goes into 4th place in 25.9 as Rising Star is on another lap. He's 28 thousandths down on his provisional time. So let's see what he can do in the second part of the lap. In hot lap, around 60% ERS left. Flat out through here, and then a little bit of a lift to get a better exit down to hang straight. He opens the DRS. He is still down, but just minimal margins, so maybe he can gain it all back in the final part of the lap. Now going in stone. Car looks very stable there, but he is heading into the pits, and I think he made a little bit of a mistake, or he just hasn't got enough fuel to finish his lap.
Yeah, so Rising Star is in the pit lane then. Very odd mistake there. Maybe Rising Star feel like he wasn't doing enough in the middle and first sector, so pitted and got on some of the stock power tires, because there is, obviously you can see Oscar now going off the track there, as he will start at the back of the field, because we all know Oscar does that with Oliver Congan and Hazara as well. MDJ is up into P10 in at the Aston Martin there, as George, the GFO driver from Greece, is now making his way towards Stowe. We go into towards 6th gear, but yeah, because I think he's in AI mode the way he's driving there, because it looks very, very slow indeed. So that must be AI he's driving in. But anyways, we're going to see what happens elsewhere on the track. Majority of drivers are back in the pit lane and ready to go for one more final shot here in qualifying. Kaname just enters the pit lane, but I think he's got enough time to try and get out there to do one more lap, as we see Oscar once again going through Lovefield. But of course, he will start at the back of the field. So our main competitors is Jensen and Laser Lord. Jensen, every time he's raced around here in SFR, he's always had some good results as well. He picked up 3 wins in a row, and if he was here for the whole season, it could completely blown the championship out wide, because it's been so close between all these guys. But one mistake, one DNF or one DNS will gain you massive consequences, because this season, it's all about winning this season, literally. It's all about consistency, and that's what these drivers are doing. Fireblaze and Kaname, their consistency has been flawless of the whole season, and that's why they're at the top of the standings, despite one of them having only 1 win, the other one having no win, which is Fireblaze. Fireblaze has got no wins, but yes, 3 points behind in the championship. That's how mighty close and consistent you're going to be.
Yeah, Fireblaze's consistency is absolutely incredible, and in some other leagues he did the same. He barely won any races, but he's still up there in the championship. So maybe he can win tonight and win the championship in SFR, as we looked with George a few moments ago, and it looked like he was in AI mode. But when he made his way down the main straight, he glitched into the pit, so that was a very weird moment, as we see Oscar just driving a few laps on a medium. It looks like he's just preparing for the race. As we see the first few drivers starting their final flying laps.
Indeed, we are. That's the majority of the drivers are out there, including Laser, who's going through Chapel right now. Let's see how he takes it. Leads the curve on the outside. The DRS is wide open for one of the two detection points, but Laser is 2 tenths up in the middle sector. Maybe get him to around 5th or 6th, depends if he can find more time. But so far, in this qualifying session, it's Fireblade's advantage over Kaname. But Kaname does have that 3 points over his shoulders there, so it might be crucial for the race, depending where they are towards the Found a few laps of the Grand Prix, but Laser a bit sluggish at the exit of turn number 16 there. As he across the line, goes to P6 there. As Samid is also the flying lap, improving in the first sector by a few hundredths of a second. Adams out there too, going through the loop in turn 3 and turn 4. Oscar doing multiple qualifying simulations there, and invalidated too. Langfeld still yet to set a lap time in the McLaren then, so let's see what he could do in the McLaren there as we watch Samid now progress all the way down towards Cops Go. But with 50 seconds left in the session, they should get very spicy now with all the nerves, all the pressure, especially between the top two, who've got it all to lose, especially after a fantastic season like this where it's been so tight, so compact, and they want to make sure they get close to each other as they possibly can. But look at Samid there, counts a lot of traffic, and he's also validated too, Ivan.
Yeah, Mimo Jensen has gone up into P2, so there was a very good lap from the Mercedes driver with a 25.7, as we now see a Rising Star, his teammate, starting his lap, his final flying lap, and everyone has to get a maximum lap out of their bags right now. Fireblaze is the last driver to start his flying lap from the top 5. See what people can do. Let's watch with Fireblaze.
Oops, sorry, my mic was muted. Sorry, I'm really sorry about that. My mic was muted. But anyways, yeah, on board with Fireblaze then, one of our 2 protagonists for the championship fights. He is currently ahead of Kaname, but for how much longer? He needs to improve in the first sector, but he isn't. He hasn't improved whatsoever, but the benefit is, there's his teammate to help him out. Both Alpines and both Ferraris are giving each other strategy and also slipstream as well, because they're the main priority tonight, to try and do well in the championship. But Samid there has completed his lap time. Fireblaze is right behind him as we go through Cops right now. Usually in the F1, you don't want to get close to that in qualifying, but obviously this game is a bit unrealistic sometimes, as we now make our way towards Maggots and Beckett and Chapel for fast flowing corners. One single sweep of the steering wheel there to absolutely finesse your way around Maggots and Beckett, as now we on board with Fireblaze in the sector, up by a few hundreds of a second, but might get a bit of time in the last sector. Just further up the road is the 2 Alpines, also demonstrating the slipstream as well, as now we see the Alpine that can name the championship leader by 3 points. Let's see how he does in this qualifying. Can he take pole? Can he have the first rights, bragging rights over Fireblaze? Here he is towards the line. Is this going to be pole? It is! It's
yes.
A 25.673. What a fantastic lap time. Here comes Fireblaze. Fireblaze only manages P4. He's 3 places behind, and being those 3 places behind means racing's there too, so racing could really help Kaname in terms of the championship. But qualifies to the dusty for the final time here. Oscar and Hurricane start to the back of the field, and we've got Kaname's on pole ahead of racing. It's another Alpine one too. Alpine have been absolutely looking strong so far this season. Rising Star P3 ahead of Fireblaze by 0.004 of a second as well, so can you believe that? Super time margin between those guys.
Yeah, wow, what a qualifying session with the Alpine 1-2. They can help each other out in their final race of the season. Maybe Racing can do the job and hold up Fireblaze so that they can make sure that Konami wins the championship. But don't count out both Mercedes as well. They are up there in the top 5 as well, so they can fight for the constructors as well if it all goes their way.
Indeed it is then, as all the drivers then are back in the pit lane and hopefully can retire from the session, because Vlotchev Jr. hasn't done so. But it is Kaname then, the championship leader, who takes pole for the time here in SFR, I was about to say SDN, but SFR. And what an amazing performance there. I think he's finally got his first pole since all those races ago, because qualifying hasn't really been his strong suit. It hasn't been for Kaname there, but finally taking his second pole of the season, and let's see what we can do from there. Fireblaze, however, is in close contention of Kaname, which is very important for this race to see how the story unfolds. But it's now P1-2, Red Star P3 ahead of Fireblaze, Jensen 5th ahead of Vlotchev Jr. Great qualifying from the Div 2 reserve. Laser P7 ahead of Glock, Simon P9 ahead of George, Adams, MDJ William in the Haas, Oscar and Langfeld and Hurricane as well to round off your top 3. But before we get into it in the race, the championship standings very crucial. Caname leads by 269 points ahead of Fireblaze by 266. 3 points separated those two. Further back is Laser, who's 20 points behind Caname in P3 with 249. In 4th place, it is Jensen with 204. 5th with Rising Star, and that's your championship standings there. Not fully up to date, of course, with the other things going on here, but it is a relatively, well, we never know what happens in the UK, but we'll see if rain does impact the circuit like it did in Division 3, and it really, really spiced things around as well. Changed the whole narrative of the Grand Prix with other people making a lot of mistakes along the way. But here, I hope for the Drivers' Championship sake, this rain is dry because that's what they need. If it's wet, it means it's way more stressful having to pick and choose your right moments, enter the pit lane or strategy call and overtake it as well. But it is cloudy here, Van.
Yeah, it's very cloudy, but you never know it on this game. It might clear up in during the race, but it also the rain may come down in this race. So we have a lot to watch in this race.
Indeed we do then. The Silverstone Grand Prix, of course, home to many favourites and also been around in the calendar since 1950, along with Monza, Belgium and the Monaco Grand Prix, which is quite forgetful because obviously that race is quite boring from time to time, in fact all the time. But yes, it is cloudy out there, of course. I mean, recently in the UK, the weather has been absolutely amazing for the past month or two. We don't want it to go away. So, yeah, at least that's the positive that it's not raining here. As we see then, the drivers then try and get the setups on, ready for the 5-minute signal call, because there is 5 minutes till this and the formation lap, just a little bit of a patient game. So what's the nerves like going towards this race, do you think, about between Fireblaze and Caname, separated by 3 points of a second? 3 points of, sorry.
Well, I think they're very nervous, and of course, it's everything to play for in this race. We're gonna have 25 laps of absolute carnage and clean racing, I hope so. But we'll see what racing, the teammate of Konami will do with the strategy.
And the formation lap is underway, so it's going to be a soft to medium strategy. Majority of people in Division 2 did mediums, I think, because of the late safety car coming out. But here we go then, the top two, and Fireblaze has gone for a different strategy then, in 4th place. He is going to start on the medium compound tyres. They won't have the earlier grip, but we'll have the endurance there. So let's see if that strategy pays dividends for him or not. But our 2 championship leaders, or protagonists, are different tyre strategies. So let's see which one pays out the most, Evan.
Yeah, I think Fireblaze will have the disadvantage at the start of the race. So the top 3 really want to drive way up the order, and Fireblaze will have the better tire at the end. But you never know with safety cars and stuff like that. So it's all a gamble for Fireblaze and Jensen behind him. They have to stay in the DRS train and hope for the best.
Indeed, then. So Fireblaze's main thing is not to lose many positions, although people around him are on the medium compound tyres too, so it's not too bad. Only Veloci Jr. on the soft compound tyres there, so at least he's got a medium runner surrounding him. Fireblaze is the highest medium runner in P4, and if he does stay in the back of this train in the early laps, that could pay dividends as well later on in the Grand Prix when he has a chance of fighting back those guys as well. So Fireblaze, I don't think he's going to go for the attack early in the Grand Prix. He's going to sit there and bide his time and wait patiently until he goes onto the soft compound tyres and give it absolutely everything here tonight in SFR. For the final race of the season, in Season 17, we get underway very shortly, as I can't wait to see what happens, because this is a massive championship fight that's been brewing since the first race of the season, and it's all come down to the wire here in Silverstone. And what a better place to do it in Silverstone as well, because this track has so much history, absolutely fantastic, and I cannot wait to see then what is going to happen in the next upcoming 26 laps of the Grand Prix. All 16 drivers then get on the grid for one final dance around here in Silverstone in Division 1. My name is Jamie, and alongside me tonight is Avan, and we'll be taking you through the race tonight. Let's see how it all folds. But we're waiting for the Williams on the very back, which is Oscar, who's taking his sweet little time there to get on the back of the field and line his car parked up on the grid slots. So we're just going to wait. What's going to happen here tonight in this hectic, dramatic race?
You saw rain. Rain. Wait a minute.
I don't think I did. But anyways, here we go then. The light's about to go away very shortly. Final race here in SFR. We get underway at the British GP. So far, a good launch from the Alpines. First and second, but here comes the VCOM on the inside there. But here comes racing side by side with Rise and Start as we head down towards turn 3. We go. Racing seems like he's ghosted so far. And we can see a few people in the background jostling for positions. That's Jensen versus Fireblaze as we go down towards the loop. Jensen's head of Fireblaze. He's up into P3 as we go side by side out of the corner now between all these guys here. Fireblaze is trying to hold on to mini compound tyres. He's got Velocio Jr. right behind him as well for good measure as we head down in towards Brooklyn as we go. The lead between Rise and Star and Name side by side once again. These guys always have fantastic battles, Rise and Star and Name, but Rise and Star tried to go all the way around the outside in the first lap of the Grand Prix, and still those two behind us are still scrapping away for positions. That is Racing, Jensen and Fireblaze as we go in towards Cops. Then I don't think no moves will be made there to be very smart about it. And so the championship leader is first, the championship protagonist is down in P5 then. So what's this going to play out for him?
Yeah, Konami had the best start of them all, and that was the most important thing, as there went somebody off the track. I thought so. It was
racing, but he's got internet connection problems, so that's why he went off the track there. I thought he dropped down the order. I saw an Alpine go down the order, and I thought it was Kanane, but luckily he stays in first place, although he's under massive pressure from Rising Star right behind, on the soft compound tyres of course. But these medium runners are doing a very good job so far, because they're holding their own in 4th and 5th there. Obviously they go for that long stint, which means they can go on the soft compound tyres late on the Grand Prix. Look at that, Jensen's ahead of Racing in towards turn 1. Well, I don't know how he did that, but Jensen's now up into P3. And Fireblaze wants to make sure he follows suit very quickly so he doesn't lose the back of Kanane. Plus, there's an Alpine right in front of us, so Racing could be the one that's been team ordered to hold Fireblaze up in the right possible ways. But Fireblaze needs to find a way past, but he doesn't really have to do it this time, or too early in the Grand Prix, as we see Adams versus MDJ, the two tier 2 drivers, then going side by side in towards Brooklands, and Adam just squeezed ahead of the corner, but here comes Oscar around the outside, and Danny inside of Hurricane as we go into towards Luffield now, and that's MDJ versus Hurricane. Sorry for the battle for P11, as they continue their scrap and end it right now. So Laser has dropped down to P13, but Ivan, it is raining, mate. It is raining.
Yeah, I swear to God, I saw some drops when the drivers were lining up on the grid, and as you can see now, the rain has come down at Silverstone, and this is gonna switch things up because Fireblaze and Jensen chose for the medium combat tire, but I don't think they expected the rain to fall this soon. And now Rising Star has the DRS, but he's not close enough to place an attack on Konami. And we have to watch out for Oscar as well. He's already up into P9, and he has to defend now from Hurricane, but it's all looking good for him right now. As to see any battles, no, we don't.
So, lap 3, these guys are not pitting just yet in this Grand Prix. A bit too early, but Kanane sets the quick laps on the Grand Prix. That could be very crucial, because if it rains throughout the whole race and Kanane set the fast lap of the Grand Prix, that could help him later on during the course of the Grand Prix as well, because nobody will be able to snatch the fast lap point away unless, of course, it dries up later on in the Silverstone Grand Prix. But so far, it is Kaname who leads ahead of Rising Star, Jensen and P3, the two Mercs together, but separated on different strategy then, as Fireblaze and Jensen on the same strategy. But Fireblaze and P5 can't seem to find a way past of the Alpine as we now go towards, he's ghosted inside him there, and does Fireblaze get ahead? He does. So Racing's instinct is letting him down, but no, he teleports back in front of him.
Yeah, crazy lag for Racing at the moment. I hope he can fix it later on in this race, as we now see we almost saw a side-by-side between Hurricane and Adams, but I think it's not smart to make a move into Cup's corner, as Oscar there goes wide, and now Hurricane is going for the move around the outside of Max and Beckett, and he does make the move stick. It's now a Red Bull 7-8, and Hurricane wants to push up the order and try to attack his teammate Glock, and he has a better exit than him. DRS goes now wide open. Glock doesn't have the DRS. Does he let his teammate by? Yes, he does. And Hurricane now up into P7 as Velois overtook Fireblaze, and Fireblaze now side by side as Fireblaze heads into the pits, and he is going to be the first one on the inters.
It is then. So this is where the race trajectory completely changes now with the rain settling on the track. It takes about 2 or 3 laps to get the track absolutely to the intermediate type condition there. But the top two stayed out, Jensen and Racing. Will Jensen regret that decision? Because obviously the inters could be a much better time now with the track constantly keep being rained on and also getting wetter and wetter and slippery as well. So these guys on a bunch of intermediates now, and the top 7 have stayed out. But let's see then. Yeah, the rain is absolutely torrential. DRS is still enabled, but of course these intermediate tyres will be the better tyre to go on, as we have a light drizzle through here. So that's one thing this race has sprung for us. It is rain, but Fireblaze in the pit lane, he rejoins that in P10, so quite a long way from Kaname as well in P8 there. Kaname is ahead of Rising Star.
Yeah, and as we look with racing, DRS is disabled, so the inters are now better than soft and mediums. So these guys up in front have to make sure they don't lose too much time, and maybe this will work out for Fireblaze. Maybe he can win 2 positions on Racing and Jensen. We'll see in about 1 minute. As now Samad is very close to the...
I was muted. Sorry.
Again, as Samad overtakes the McLaren of Langfield, and he is up in the P6, but I think he is going into the box. It might be a double stack there for both of the McLarens, and it will be a double stack for both of the McLarens. So a lot of time loss for Langfield, as Laser has picked up a 10-second time penalty as he heads into the pit. So that is costing him for the championship battle, as everyone now heads into the pits and they are putting on the intermediate compounded tire. And let's see who's gonna come out in front now. Kaname, can he take back the lead? I think he can. Yes, Kaname is back in the lead with Rising Star just behind. But can Fireblaze make the move? Yes, he can. He's up at the 3rd place. Very important for him.
Indeed it is, but the gap is 3.4 seconds away from Rising Star and Kaname, so his rival is a bit too far away out of the picture for the time being. But let's see then how much Fireblaze has got to defend, because he's all over the road towards turn 5 or turn 5. Now he's got Jensen all at the back of it, but will Jensen go for a move down inside towards Brooklands? I don't think he will. The trusty Martins of Laser, who's 3rd in the championship, and MDJ, the Div 2 driver, is up there in P9, but unfortunately Laser has got that 10-second penalty, so he's well the equation for this championship fight here. But once again, these two seem to be glued to each other, Kaname and Rising Star, and like they were back in the Dutch GP, but of course they traded DRS. And Jensen's ahead of Fireblaze, that's before Cops. He is. He's up into P3. Is Jensen then? Great move from the Mercedes driver, but goes a bit deep in the corner and might exceed the challenges there. I'm not quite sure. But now Jensen's been released. Can he catch after Rising Star and Kaname, who seems like they've got the control of this Grand Prix now? They've got the bragging rights and they control it how they want to as well by setting the pace out there. But Kaname is streaking away. The gap is almost a second between those two. It is a second right now as we see the whole gaggle of cars entering the hangar straight, but none of these guys are too close to closer to make a move just yet.
Yeah, as we see now, Kaname is pulling away from Rising Star, almost a second right now, so Rising Star has to push in order to stay with the race leader, and this is all going the right way for Kaname right now, as we see a battle there for P13 between Summit and George, and Summit has managed to make the move on George, and he now goes up into P13. And we have to keep an eye out on Oscar. He's already up into P7 and now all over the back of Racing. Can he make a move in when we head to the next straight? On board, watching with Williams. He has a slipstream, but Racing has a slipstream as well, as Fireblaze is now losing touch with the podium places, with McLaren with the Mercedes 2-3 right now. And Harry Kane is looking to make a move on Fireblaze, as does Oscar on the Alpine of Racing.
Doing a fantastic job, because he's got the gap over a second then between himself and Rising Star. So looks like K-Name's alone, as here comes Oscar side by side with the Alpine. Can he make the move before Cobbs? He does. Oscar opens a P6 with that lovely move on the outside, and now he chases after Harry Kane. So Racing, unfortunately, he's dropped back dramatically ever since this rain came, and he's fallen down into P7. It's a massive shame there, but Kaname is still doing a very good job in front. He may not have a rear gunner, but he's got the gap behind us, which is Rising Star and Jensen there. Crucial gaps, because his main focus tonight is finishing ahead of Fireblaze in P4. That's what he cares about. Yes, he's got one win this season, but I'm dearly sure he would love to go for more as well, considering that this season is all about peak consistency and constant battle between the whole season. As Laser gets ahead of MDJ for P9 and P10. Those two Aston Martins there just swap places as Laser, who's third in the championship, goes up into P9 ahead of MDJ. So the gap in front is increasing to 1.8 seconds there. So Kaname in this interface has got some mega pace there to keep the gap over a second and pull away from his rivals there, leaving him all troubled at the front. And Kaname, let's see if he does control that from here on in. Will the rain get lighter? Will we go back to the dry compound tyres? All the questions will be answered very shortly as we see Oscar Hurricane on the inside of Fireplace. That's in towards turn 3, so that's not what Fireplace wants whatsoever, with Hurricane and Oscar all over the back of him then as we exit turn 4, turn 5, on the loop we go. No DRS of course, but it's all about the straight line speed of the battery. Who's going to use the most battery out of this lot as we head down in towards Brooklands then, but Hurricane is a bit too far back to make a move on Fireblaze there, but Oscar's waiting the position as well in the background of P6. Hurricane was going to go for the turn number 3, but I think he knows the straight was coming up very quickly and therefore bailed out of it as well. Don't want to make contact with Fireblaze considering he's the man fighting for a championship, but his championship aspiration getting slimmer and slimmer because Kaname has absolutely checked out in first place there. We don't really see him he's only had 1 win this season, but could he add 2 and become a champion at the same time? Watching these guys then swoop through Magnus and Beckett with Jensen. The gap is 2.8, so he's gained a little bit of time around to start. His own teammate as Fireblaze is dropped out the 1 second range there, so he's starting to lose pace as Fireblaze, not enjoying this interstint, so be hoping that the rain lights us off in the next coming laps there. But Fireblaze in P4, he wants to win the championship, but if he can't, at least finish in P3, got the podium for the final race of the season, but it's looking unlikely. You've got Hurricane and Oscar all of the gearbox as well. Racing's right there too for the taking, and it's getting slimmer and slimmer for Fireblaze. Even though there's 19 laps left to go in the Grand Prix, anything could happen.
Yeah, so see Adams picking up a 2-second time penalty, but Fireblaze has now officially lost touch with Jensen, and now Hurricane is all the way over the back of him with Oscar, and Racing just about hanging on there on a gap on 8 tenths. As now Konami has built a gap for over 2 seconds. And Hurricane is now very close. He make a move on Fireblaze. Fireblaze with a little bit of a slide coming out of turn number 5, but doesn't look like he has to defend right here. But he goes a little bit deeper to the corner, and this might be an opportunity for Hurricane, but doesn't look like it, as Oscar is also very close to the back of the Red Bull, and he now has a very good exit. Can he make a move right now again into Cobb's corner? He has a slipstream, but he is not gaining. Now, just a little lift into 6th gear. They all have a lot of ERS, but Fireblaze only has 35% ERS, and that means Hurricane and Oscar might have an advantage right here in terms of ERS. And now Hurricane has a non-slipstream down the hanging straight. But Oscar is also looking for the move on Hurricane now around the outside of no, he can't quite make the move. Maybe he goes for the switchback right here. Oh, he has the better grip. Can he now place his car around the outside? No, he can't. He stays behind for the moment, and that means he has to wait for another lap.
Yeah, Oscar ducking and diving there, moving left and right to see where he can overtake Hurricane and catch him off guard. But the Williams is putting the Red Bull under so much pressure here. So Hurricane was thinking about overtaking Fireblaze. Now he's going to defend from Oscar out behind as we go through turn 1 and turn 2. Spectacular corners these days, Formula 1. Now heading towards the proper braking zone towards 3, as Oscar's not close enough to make a move on Hurricane on this occasion, and so has to stay behind him. But Fireblaze, I could dare say, is holding his pack a bit as well because he lost touch with Jensen. The gap is 1.5 seconds between himself and Jensen. Jensen is slowly but surely gaining a rise as far as teammates, and Kaname, however, the championship leader with only 1 win, has checked out in front of the field then. He has been close to winning Grand Prix before, but it seems like 2nd and 3rd was his best of the whole season. He just couldn't find the win at all, but maybe here tonight in Silverstone, without the commentator's curse, he could change that and get 2 wins and a championship under his belt as well.
Yeah, that is the main goal for the Alpine of Konami right now. He is very comfortable in P1 right now. He does not have to make any mistakes, and if all goes his way, he is picking up the championship from Division 1, as Rising Star has gained a little bit back, but he is still pulling away from his teammate Jensen, and Fireblaze also has gained a little bit back on Jensen, but still not much, as Hurricane is to defend from Oscar right now. No, Oscar settles behind for the moment, but he is now approaching towards turn number 16. And now he's gonna go down the inside. Can he make the move stick right now? Oh, over the curb. Side by side still. Now going into club. Can he make the move? He goes a little bit off the track. Still side by side. Oh, a little bit struggling on the traction right there. But still side by side. What an amazing battle between the Williams and the Red Bull. And Oscar has made the move stick up into P5. And now he's now going to chase after Fireblaze.
Unbelievable. Oscar, who started at P15, is now up into 5th place within 10 laps as well. So incredible progress there for the Norwegian, as we expect. Like he did at Dutch GP when he started last, like he did back at the Miami Grand Prix as well. What a fantastic drive for Oscar once again. And he's making his way up to the field. Slowly but surely, Velocio Jr. now ahead of Laser. So Laser's had a torrid time out here and coming towards 4 or 5. So he might be compromised to the exit there, as he is, as Racing gets ahead of Velocio Jr. for the time being. As we head down towards side by side now between those two. Let's see then. Velocio Jr. goes a bit deep in the corner. Laser still goes around the outside, has the momentum and the speed to go through. But Velocio Jr., the Tier 2 driver, multiple wins this season, is putting massive pressure on Laser, who starts fighting third for the championship. As William George going side by side in towards Luffield we go, but George goes out deep and William goes back through as he puts himself into P14. Also want to mention as well, these two are the newcomers in SFR, but because we've been so busy talking about the championship and qualifying and the race, I forgot to mention those two. So welcome William and welcome George to this league. Hopefully you have a good time here, but not a good time at the moment because it's raining of course. So let's see how you do from here on in next season if you do continue to race with us. But here comes our DJ then, right at the back. It's got racing right at the back of Harry Kane going in towards. Oh no, Harry Kane there under massive pressure for the RP driver who's trying to make up lost ground after pitting one lap later. He was in second or third at the time, but he pitted at the wrong time, hence why he's dropped all the way back. And MDJ now is alongside the racing board as we head down in towards There We Go and Club. And let's see then which one of these two can get ahead of who. It is MDJ for the time being then, but we've got a big battle going on between P4 downwards. It is quiet at the front of the field as you expect in the wet conditions, but Fireblaze has got a whole gaggle of cars behind him waiting to pounce at any given moment.
Yeah, Fireblaze under massive pressure from Oscar and the two guys behind him, as Racing is now pushing so a little bit on the limit right there, but he is still behind the Red Bull of Harry Kane, who's driving a good race so far. As Fireblaze goes a bit wide there, maybe Oscar can now have a better exit. Doesn't look like it. Similar exit for both of the two drivers. And Fireblaze and Laser and MDJ are having a battle. Oh no, Veloz is now right behind the Aston Martin of MDJ. Can he make a move down in towards Cop's corner? No, he stays behind for the moment. He plays it smart for now. As we now head towards Max and Beckers. Can he settle up for a good exit and try to make the move?
Let's see then. Velocio Jr.'s got a massive good pace advantage over MDJ in front of him. Has got Oscar right behind Fireblaze. He's caught up very quickly. Has Oscar towards the back of Fireblaze. It's just a matter of time when he does the overtake, of course. It's not if, it's when it happens, because Oscar is so good at making his way through the field. He's a reserve driver, and every single time he's raced here at SFR, he starts at the back of the field and got inside the top 3 somehow. So it's incredible pace there from Oscar, as MDJ gets a 3-second time between 4 corner cuts in there. That's a massive shame. You don't really see many corner cutting penalties in Silverstone, of course, but he's not a track to go too out wide, although Stowe used to have his problems in the past where people ran out wide and gaining validation there. But in the race trip, you don't expect many penalties to be given out unless, of course, it's a track with, like Austria, Imola as well, brutal the track limits.
Yeah, the track limits on those tracks are a little bit rigged, I must say, but on Silverstone it's a lot different compared to previous years, and racing around here has become very much better. As we now see Oscar right at the back of Fireblaze. Fireblaze defending for his life and for the championship, but Kaname is still in P1 and he's checking out so far, but Jensen has gained back a little bit of time on his teammate. The gap now at 1.6. Maybe Rising Star has hit a bit too hard on the opening laps with his inters, so that might open the door for Jensen to get by his teammate. Maybe he will let him through in a couple of laps, as Oscar is now really close to the back of Fireblaze, scanning the better exit right now to make the move. Looks like he doesn't, but Fireblaze a little bit of a moment on the curb right there. And there comes Oscar down the inside, and he has made the move stick. Fireblaze isn't gonna defend this one because he knows Oscar is quicker than him. And Fireblaze now has to drive his own race, but let's see if Oscar can close the gap of 4 seconds towards Jensen.
Yes, indeed. Oscar's very good at making recovery drives. Ask him back in Belgium when he did that strategy as well. What a fantastic strategy for Oscar. His innovation, his knowledge as well about the rain came to play the fantastic effect on him because he went on to win the Grand Prix ahead of racing on his first podium of the season. But the floor is twitching out of turn 1 and turn 2, going through. Far we go. As here comes Harry Kane down the inside into towards 3. The championship contender is not having a good time out here. It's so no condition, but off the track goes Oscar. Oscar does a track down the third first. In towards turn 4, turn 5. Fireblaze gets ahead then. As we see the RP struggling for traction once again. Here comes Mason on the inside there of Hurricane. Oscar has been shuffled into P7, but he's side by side with the Red Bull driver as we head down towards turn 6 and turn 7. Fireblaze stays in P4 with Mason there, teleporting left, right, and centre as well in P5 in the mix. So Hurricane and Oscar lost a few places there in towards turn 3, but not too many places there. Fireblaze did a good job to defend from Hurricane in down the inside towards turn 3.
Yeah, that was Carnage right there as we see a battle between Veloz and MDJ. We come back later to the front within a few seconds as MDJ is remaining in P9, but with a 3-second time penalty he is surely going to lose that place as he now loses that place on track. He goes off the track in fact, but he still managed to get ahead of him, but that is an unfair move, I think so. He got pushed right by Veloz, so that's why he is thinking he has right to lane P9 for now. But Oscar, one little mistake and you're losing 3 positions. But he's made the move on Hurricane as now Racing is trying it around the outside, from the outside to the inside. Now, can he make the move? Oscar's trying to make profit of it as well. Oh, and Racing almost goes off the track because of his lag. And Oscar was in P6 at the beginning of the lap because of his mistake. I mean in P7, and now he's back up into P4. Crazy comeback from him, and but that has lost a lot. That has lost him a lot of time, and gap now 7 seconds towards P3 Jensen. But crazy battle there as Racing has gone. He goes for a brief moment right there, but what a battle between these 4 drivers. Wow.
Indeed it is, and we've got Jensen on the back of Rise Star as well. So those 2 teammates, let's see then if Rise Star might let Jensen through, because in the Mercedes camp they've worked so well and harmony together. They wanted to be teammates, and Hurricane's been overtaken by Fireblaze. Yeah, go side by side. Hurricane just gets ahead, as you can see Fireblaze really struggling, but he's still on the outside there. Using the bit of battery he has in his disposal, not much left of it, as Hurricane has a lot of EMS in his disposal, and he puts himself into P6. It goes from bad to worse for Fireblaze there. In 7th place, just drivers attacking him, and Kaname seems to be streaking away. But we've got yellow flags down there in the first middle sector. Who's that? It looks, I'm not quite sure who it was, but we get raced again. But Jensen's rising back his teammate then. Will Rise Star let him go? As we head down into towards Stowe we go. Jensen now puts himself into P2. Can he hunt that all? Here comes Rise Star back to his teammates. A switch back between those 2 as we continue wheel to wheel. But Rise Star just gets ahead again. So Jensen going wide. He's been compromised. And I thought both Mercedes would try and work together to try and bring down Kaname at the top of the pecking order. But not to be. It's all out here between these 2 Mercedes boys.
Yeah, I don't know why Rising Star is fighting Jensen, because he knows Jensen is the better of the 2 right now, and Jensen is faster than Kaname as it looks like, but now the gap is 2.6 seconds, so I think Mercedes should have played the team game right there as George gets a 3-second time penalty, but I think Jensen should have gone up into P2 there and trying to close the gap towards Kaname, so maybe Mercedes can have a go at the win, but doesn't look like Rising Star is having any of that, as MDJ is getting overtaken by Veloz for P9, and Veloz is finally ahead of the Aston Martin driver, but MDJ doesn't want to give that one up, and he's now pulling up into the slipstream of the V-Guard, but he's not making a move so far, and he's settling behind for the moment.
We've got Jensen there putting massive pressure on Rise of Star, but I wonder how long are these 2 going to trip over their own shoulders like Ferrari did back. Oh, Oscar goes off the track into towards Cops. I just saw that. He just oversteered off the track, trying to push the boundaries and the limits around here, trying to get himself closer and closer towards the top 3. But Jensen made a mistake in towards Chapel, I think, and therefore lost a few hundreds between himself and Rise of Star. But yes, I'm not quite sure why Rise of Star didn't let him go, because he's not fighting Kaname ideally, but Jensen has a chance to catch Kaname as well. So the more he's stuck, the more Kaname has a chance to pull away. away. And the more they battle as well, the more chance Kaname could be secured for first place as well, because he's definitely got the pace here tonight. But Rising Star, it's probably not thinking about the long-term game, because it is the final race of the season. So I think he just wants to race for himself. Does Rising Star, as Jensen right behind him. It's been a fantastic season between these two. Every time they've raced as well, they always work well together in strategy as well. But this time here in Silverstone, it's all changed around. We're all fighting for our pride as well, as there's 10 laps left to go in the Grand Prix. Still raining out on the circuit, but no intention of getting dry later on.
Yeah, we now see a little bit of a dry line forming, but it's still raining out there. But I don't think it's gonna stop raining for the next 10 laps at least. So I think we'll finish this race with interconditions, as Oscar has managed to pull away from the top 5, 6, 7 after that moment in Cops Corner last lap. But we still see a battle for 5th place, as Racing is of course trying to hold off Fireblaze for the championship, but Fireblaze doesn't seem to have the pace. And now behind Hurricane, as Hurricane has a little bit of a moment coming out of turn number 8. And Jensen is all the way over the back of his teammate Rising Star. Maybe can he make the move in lap 16 out of 26? Yes. He doesn't have more ERS, but he has a better exit, and now he is fully alongside. Can he make the move, or is Rising Star going for the switchback again? He doesn't want to give this up, but Jensen finally ahead of his teammate, and let's see if he can now push towards the race leader Kaname, and maybe he can go for the win.
Indeed it is, though. Jensen's been released. Very important for him now, because we do think that Jensen's got a better pace in comparison towards Kaname. But now Rising Star has let him through on that main straight in towards the hangar straight. He's up into P2. Let's see if he could try and hunt down Kaname there and become a problem for his race. But I don't think Kaname cares much if Jensen follows him or behind him, because Fireblaze is under P7. Nowhere to be seen so far for the Ferrari driver, who's stuck behind Racing, behind Hurricane and Fireblaze as well, and Oscar. Oscar is decreasing the gap between himself and Rising Star. The gap was like 3 seconds laps ago, but it's now 5.6. So he's brought the gap down dramatically between himself and Rising Star. Could he also be the shout for a podium? I dare say yes, because he always is in every single race he appears to. But Jensen then not getting much time on Kaname, only by a few tenths now and then the first setup. But it's all about the twisty parts where Jensen might gain the most here as well, because he's been like up down to 2.1 as well. And you can see Jensen then made a mistake out of left field there. The back of the car wanted to complain as he applied the throttle, but however he hasn't lost a lot of time still. The gap is 2.2 seconds there. But what are those two doing? I think they're ducking and diving in the puddles there to try and cut the tyres down.
Yeah, you can see the drivers trying to cool down the tires on the straight, because they know the tire wear is high around here, and with the final few laps the tire wear is pretty high, and as you can see there's a dry line forming on the track. So maybe the drivers have to watch out for punctures at the end of the race. So maybe Rising Star is now not pushing too hard, so maybe he can push for the final few laps, as Velois gets a 3-second time penalty, and that's very crucial for him for the battle for 8th place maybe. But I don't think he's gonna catch up to Laser anytime soon, as Racing is back in the DRS of Oscar, because Oscar has made a mistake, I guess. And Hurricane is losing touch just a little bit, as does Fireblaze. Gaps aren't as small as they were 5 laps ago, as we see a battle between George and William. Yeah, side by side now, going up in towards Stowe. Can William stay ahead? No, he can't, because George is now right alongside him. Great battle between George and William right there for P14 only. But,
Indeed.
I think they're having fun.
Indeed they are then. Those two have been glued together for the whole race as well. So nothing to lose, just having a bit of fun out there in the final race of the season. As Jensen then, he's not having fun. He wants to get that gap down under a second and try and take Kaname on for the win as well. Kaname, who's only won one race this season, back at the Japanese Grand Prix, when he dominated there last season too, prior before, defending from Hurricane and Bay the time. But Kaname there, his main strength is that he gets all the results he needs. It's all about podiums as well. It's not all about winning, it's all about being very consistent and planning attack and watching other people as well struggle, because other people this season had DNFs and DNSs, but Kaname and Fireblaze, they turned up to every single race here so far, hence why they're the champions, and hence why that's the top two there are fighting for the championship, with them being so close together in all the rounds we've gone through. But not this time, not close enough for Fireblaze and Kaname. He's done a P7 in no man's land, and he's also about 10 seconds away from the lead as well, or 15 shall I say. So yeah, he's well out of contention there. But with 8 laps left to go, Rising Star is P3, might be cemented on the podium, but not yet. It's because Oscar's catching Rising Star. The gap is 4.3. It was like 5 seconds a few laps ago. Now it's 4.3. So Oscar's brought that gap down. Could Rising Star be in threat of losing his podium here towards Oscar as Jensen putting massive pressure on Kaname?
Yeah, Oscar rapidly gaining on the Mercedes of Rising Star, so he is in contention for a podium, and maybe if he is lucky, Kaname will defend very hardly to the Mercedes of Jensen, because Jensen really wants to take that race win, but Kaname wants to finish his season in style, to take the championship and to take the race win as well. But you can see Jensen gaining under braking, and he's almost alongside him, and he almost touches the rear of Kaname. But it looks like Jensen is gonna make the move very, very soon, as Fireblaze did lose touch. As we see a mega moment for racing, I thought so, but it was just his lag again. But Fireblaze lost touch on the last lap. Now he is within 9/10 of Hurricane. Hurricane also is losing touch of the Alpine of Racing, so the field seems like it's going to spread out a little bit, as Jensen is now within 5/10 of Kaname. He doesn't have the DRS, of course, as we saw. Now, racing has just lag again, it's unbelievable. But Jensen is settling behind for the moment, and I think he's looking to make the move in the final stages of this race.
No DRS, of course, will be assisted to Jensen, so it's all down to him to see where he could pass. Can Kaname stay in the lead of the Grand Prix with Jensen all over his shoulders and Oscar catching too? But there is 6 laps left to go here for the final race of the season. The championship fight may not be happening between Fireblaze and Kaname right now, but it's a battle for the lead between these two as Jensen gets a lot more speed towards 1 and 2 as we head down towards the braking zone. So he's got a lot more cornering speed in comparison to Kaname there, who seems to be struggling just a bit. But here's Jensen. It's big opportunity to go around the outside, to have the inside line, or try and get a better switchback, get a better exit than Kaname, but he squirms himself out of the corner. Rising Star still there, P3, looking at these two to see what happens as we now head onto the Wellington straight we go. Going down towards Brooklands, Kaname defends the inside line, but Jensen's not close on this occasion to make a move. But I know Kaname, he really wants to go for the win because it'd be second win of the season, but at the same time, though, how much risk, oh, Jensen once again, massive slide out of Luffield there. But how much risk is Kaname willing to take away Jensen if he wants his first win? Because the championship is super, super close. Any sort of contact, any sort of like an end plate or anything like that, or 3-second penalty, he could fall all the way down the order. So how much risk is he wanting to win the race plus the championship as well?
Yeah, Kaname has to be really careful right here, because if he goes off the track or loses the car, it's not only his drive championship that is coming in danger, it's also the construction championship that's coming in danger, because both Mercedes are now both in a podium position, as Jensen is now going to make the move on Kaname, and he is up into P1. We have a new race leader here with 6 laps to go on Silverstone, and Kaname has lost the race lead, and he just has to make sure that he doesn't make any mistakes, and he just has to put the championship in the back, as Samet picks up a 3-second time penalty. That's already the 7th driver to pick up a time penalty.
Indeed it is. Jensen's going for his 4th win of the season. He won 3 in a row, and that was back at the early stage of the season, back in Hungary, Imola and Austria, when Jensen was on absolute form. But we know Jensen has lots of commitment in other things he does in life, so he hasn't been here all the time. He's been a reserve driver, as Jensen must be said, but when he does appear, he always puts some good races on. As Langford gets a 3, a second time penalty. So Kaname is losing time towards Jensen, maybe in the clutches of Rising Star and possibly Oscar, but there's 5 laps left to go. So I think Rising Star and Kaname, they won't fight too much. But with the tyres getting older and older, I wonder how good these intermediates will be, because they look like they're chewed up as well. No signs of race stopping, and they've got to extend the interstint for such a long time as well. So who's been good at tyre management here? Who will find themselves in a bit of trouble towards the latter stage of the Grand Prix? Because back in like 2013, we had that tyre blowout between Hamilton, Massa, and a few others as well. We saw a lot of tyre failures around here in Silverstone, and in 2020 as well, between Hamilton and a few others become puncher. And back in 2017, with both Ferraris become puncher as well. So I wonder, around this race circuit, how long can the intermediates go for, and what is their tyre life right now?
Yeah, I think the intermediates are about to enter puncture territory, as we see Kaname and Rising Star and Oscar as well cooling the tires down on the straights, and Kaname is losing time on Jensen. Jensen immediately has created a 1.5 second gap towards number 2. And Rising Star is gaining as well. He is almost within a second of the Alpine. and Konami has to watch out that Oscar doesn't gain too much, because maybe his podium places will become danger, as well as Racing is keeping up with Oscar. He is not losing time, but Hurricane is very close to the back of Racing. Racing does not has to get any lag spikes, because then he will lose the position to Hurricane. Hurricane is very close right now to Racing, as Rising Star is within a second of Konami, but Hurricane is now all the way over the back of Racing, who has a little bit of a moment coming out of turn number 5, and Hurricane is settling behind for the moment. 3 tenths separate each other.
Indeed it is then. So Rise of Star has finally caught up towards Kaname. They were together in one stage, but I wonder if Rise of Star just backed off there and saved his tyres. And now Kaname is starting to pay the price a little bit as well. As you can see him ducking to the right side, trying to get the tyre temperature all the way down to the minimum. Maybe the intermediate tyres are starting to overheat as well. And plus, with the tread being so thin as well, the tyres are starting to reach the end of the peak performance as well. As Rise of Star is on the back of Kaname there is 4 laps left to go in this Grand Prix. Rise of Star, who's under pressure of Oscar, because Oscar cashed him, but Rise of Star's got some pace, and now he's on the back of Kaname then. As we head down towards the hangar straight we go. The EOS will be deployed, the slipstream, but can Rise of Star make the move immediately? No, he can't. He stays behind for the time being then. There is 3 laps left to go in the Grand Prix. 3 laps left to go in the Grand Prix after this one, and it should be a good fight between these two here. How much risk is Kaname willing to take against Rise of Star?
Yeah, I don't think Konami is going to take too much risk, because again, he knows championship is in the back if he doesn't make any mistakes. So I think he's gonna let Rising Star go, but not without a fight. He has to keep it clean, otherwise he's going to get damaged, as Rising Star is so close. And he has a little bit of a moment, but now he's trying it around the outside into turn 4. And that is compromising the exit of Konami, because he had to go defensive right there. And now Rising Star is in the slipstream. Can they make the move? Konami is now going onto the wet stuff, but Rising Star is now officially around the outside, and he has made the move. It's now a 1-2 for the Mercedes pair. And now Konami has to watch out that Oscar isn't gaining too much in the final few laps of this race. Konami now just doesn't need to make any mistakes, and he has the championship in the back, because Fireblaze is all the way down into P7.
Yeah, so you can see Kaname struggling here, and he's been in condition, maybe the tyre wear, it's affected him slightly, but Oscar's breathing down his neck. Racing is breathing down his neck as well. Don't expect Racing to get past Kaname. So it's this Oscar versus Kaname then for the final spot on the podium. Who will it belong to? The championship leader or the reserve driver, who's had multiple wins and multiple podiums this season? And what a fantastic race for him as well, because he started down all the way at the back of the field, and he's up there in P4. Here's Oscar. He's had 1 race with the 3 podiums this season, and he has been absolutely fantastic for the whole season, has Oscar. He is a reserve driver, but what could he have done to influence this championship by? If he was a full-time driver, I'm not quite sure, but I definitely know that he'll be definitely up there in the Drivers' Championship. As we see, Rise of Star then, it's Mercedes 1-2 around here in Silverstone as well. Could have been the first 1-2 since the Hungarian Grand Prix later on in the season as well. But we've got Kaname still there on the back of Rise of Star. We've got Oscar who's catching up as well, so maybe the 1-2 might not be there with Oscar, Racing and Hurricane catching up as well. And let's see how it all falls. Fireblaze is in no man's land, unfortunately. He's down in P7 after all his valiant efforts and attempts to try and take the lead away from Kaname in the championship. He's done a fantastic job. His consistency's got him so far, but at the same time, though, has he been a bit aggressive in the last few races? He hasn't really capitalised, has he, when Kaname's made the mistakes? Kaname's always been there and tried to keep the mistakes to a minimum, and his consistency has been ruthless so far this season, hence why he's up there in 3rd place and fighting for the championship as well, because Kaname's made the least mistakes out of Fireblaze. Fireblaze, however, he's been very consistent, but at the same time, though, hasn't really had an answer towards Kaname. Kaname's always been second best to him, or how you see that laser, Fireblaze been second best towards Kaname. There is 3 laps left to go in the Grand Prix. Oscar's caught up. The gap is 1.2 seconds between Kaname and Oscar, so the podium might be disappearing for Kaname anytime soon, but I don't think he'll care, because the championship is one on his mind then. He can start to feel it coming in the last few laps of the Grand Prix. The pressure will be high between all these guys as well, but I'm worried about the intermediate tyres though. Can the intermediates make the distance, or will we see a few punchers? And if we do see punchers, who will it be? Because that could be very costly, the championship indeed, for anybody.
Yeah, everyone has to watch out that they don't pick up any punctures at all, because if you pick up a puncture, it's just race over for you, especially if you're in the top 6. One mistake and it's over for you. As Rising Star has managed to gain a little bit of time back to his teammate Jensen, but we see a little bit of a train forming right there from Rising Star to Harry Kane, so we might see a battle for P2 right here, as Rising Star is now holding up the field a little bit, just so that Oscar can gain, because he's now within 6 tenths of Konami, and Konami is also within 6 tenths of Rising Star, but Oscar is willing to make the move for the final podium spot, as does everyone behind him, and Rising Star is still gaining time on Jensen, but I think Jensen is just trying to give Rising Star maybe just a little bit of a slipstream, as you see a better way. No, we see NDJ heading into the pits. Maybe he has a puncture, maybe he has not, but the tire wears must be very high, and Konami now dropping a little bit back, but for now we don't see any battles, and we still see the drivers cooling down their tires on the wet part of the track.
It's been a heavily rained race so far, the British GP here, so we only had a dry period for a few moments, about lap 4, lap 5, and that was absolutely it, and we switched on to these bits ever since. But the battle for the podium is not over yet, because Kaname is under massive pressure for Oscar right behind as well. So can Oscar, from the back of the field, go up to P3? Looks like all these guys might be struggling in the intermediate tyres, because we absolutely tuned up here as we head down towards the Haggard Straights. Kaname's using a battery in attack mode and defence mode, but can't get close to one, and Oscar's not getting closer either as we head towards Stoke. Can Kaname win the championship by standing the podium, because Oscar's breathing down his neck and will take any advantage he can to get past Kaname as well, with all the risks involved in the last lap as well. Can't afford to lose it all after a fantastic race. So here we go then. One final lap of the season, one more tour around the Silverstone Grand Prix, and one more chance for glory for Kaname, who leads the way with 5 places a few places behind. But this is Kaname's moment to lose, and right now he's holding all the cards here. He's been a long road for the RP driver. He didn't start his journey as a title favourite, not this season, and certainly not last season as well. But in the back, there's Rising Star. He's got a puncher. Rising Star's got a puncher. Can you believe it? Same place as Valtteri Bottas as well. Down towards turn 3, so he's got a puncher, unfortunately. Let's see if anybody else suffers a puncher, because these intermediates have been taken through the long time. But it's been a difficult road for Alpine driver. He didn't start this journey as a title favourite, not this season, and certainly not last season. Remember, he only joined SFR midway through last season, season 16, and he's been a quite late addition to the grid as well. But even then, he saw the flashes of brilliance as well. A brilliant win in Japan and 2 podiums last season as well. As we see him now make his way towards Cops we go. It is stopped raining, but Oscar's on the back of him still as we head down towards Cops. But wow, what a fantastic race it's been for Kaname as well, trying to keep it nice and controlled. Rising Star got a puncher, falling down to P6 actually, so not too far away there. But it's been a long road for the RP driver. He came back this season not just to compete, but he's proved himself to belong at the very top. Race after race, under pressure from Farblaze, from chaos, from weather, he's always delivered. No matter the track, no matter the consequences, Kaname has always found a way to stay in the championship fights, even at his lowest days. But now look at him, going through Stowe we go. As we see Oscar's on the back of him once again, behind him, Farblaze can only watch as we see Kaname then make his way towards the final few corners. Final few corners now for Kaname. Keep it nice and tidy as you like. Interval, no mistakes, as Jensen wins the British GP. But Kaname is the new SF4 champion! He has done it! Fantastic for Kaname here, who starts off last season midway through, and he picked up a winner podium too, but he's finally done it! Kaname is the champion of SFR, after all the pressure sustained on his shoulders as well. The problem in Las Vegas where he dropped towards the back of the field, when he got taken out, he's never looked back since, and he's absolutely been ruthless throughout this season. He's had to conquer the pressure really well. And he's now engraved his name to the SF4 champion. Fantastic from Kaname there. Absolutely amazing. And he'll be very happy with that one indeed, because he deserves it after so much good consistency. Only winning one race. I think that was back in Keke Rosberg and Mike Hawthorne back in 1958 and 1982 there, when they won one race and got the championship. But wow, Kaname there should be very happy with himself, because he's only got one win. But the podiums, the consistency has been absolutely ruthless as well. Just turn up every single race, doing your best job. And that's exactly what Kaname's done. He's delivered as well as the RP driver. No one can take it away from him, because he's been there every single race. A force to be reckoned with. Mighty pace, mighty resilience as well. Never gives up. Very clean, very methodical. And last season, we didn't expect it, because Kaname did join midway through. But his results, he had a win in Japan and 2 podiums later on. But I didn't expect him to be the championship favourite this season after what happened last season as well. But Kaname's proved us all wrong. He is the champion of SFR, and well done to him.
Yeah, what a race we've just seen on Silverstone, with the puncture on the last lap. But Kaname all over the moon, I guess so. And he has secured a championship in the Alpine. What a race for him! What a season for him! Wow.
Not only he's got the championship, he set the fast up the Grand Prix too. It went in the dry conditions. So there's your classifications. Jensen gets his fourth for the season. Canadian P2. Oscar from the back of the grid to third. Racing in fourth place ahead of Harry Kane from 16th to 5th. Great race for him. Barblaze, missed out. But unfortunately, it wasn't near the last race of the season, was he, to try and get back ahead of Caname. But Fireblaze gave it his all this season. The man with 0 wins and runner up in the championship in P2. He's done fantastic as well, let's not forget, because he's been there every single race. And despite getting beaten by Caname previous times in the last few races, he has done a mega job to withstand the pressure, not lose his focus, and try and get the best possible result in every way, shape, or form he can. And maybe P2 for him might be a bit disappointing, because I know Fireblaze has raced in 3 other leagues, and he's lost the championship in every single one of them as well. So I'm hoping this one could bring him good luck. But Fireblaze, unfortunately, once again, has the seeking feeling of losing the championship. But we should get our drivers in the podium interviews, and we could hear from what they have to say. We definitely got a few drivers happy here as well after winning the championship and the race. But I hope we get Caname in the podium interviews, and we can get going very, very soon as well. So just bear with us for a few seconds before we get the guys in the podium interviews. But Ivan, have you enjoyed this race, mate? And you've done a mega job too, commentating.
I've enjoyed it a lot. Although it was my first time doing English commentary, I did my best and I had fun. And I think there wasn't a better way to start off with a race like that, like this on Silverstone, with a championship decider, and with Konami, of course, taking the championship. It couldn't have gone much better for me.
Yeah, you've done absolutely amazing comms. Thank you so much as well for being there in the last race of the season. Your commentating has been absolutely formidable, and despite doing it your first time in Dutch, you've done a really good job. First time in English, sorry. You did a really good job speaking English and doing a fantastic job and giving us all the entertainment ahead of us as well. So well done today, mate. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
So I can't get Caname in the driver's interviews for some reason. I'm trying to find his name. What's his name? TTV Caname?
Yeah, that's correct.
Trying to invite him to party, but I can't find him, so hopefully I can find him soon. I want to hear from him because obviously he likes to chat with us now and then, but I just can't find his name for some reason. It's not popping up for me. A bit of a awkward podium interview here, but
I think he said he would be joining. He's just going toilet first.
Oh yeah, fair enough. I don't think Oscar will be joining either, will he?
I don't know.
I'll message Oscar. He does sometimes when he has a very good race like today, but we'll see. I'll see if Oscar wants to join or not. Caname says he'll go for a piss. I'll be right back. Oh, sorry about that. He'll go for the toilet. I'll be right back. I just tagged Oscar to do a podium interview if he wants to. But Jensen, not to waste your time though, we'll start from you. Jensen, mate, what a fantastic race as well, because you started at the 6th place, then made your way through the field, you had the pace into conditions, and you were catching them at Reynos as well, and overtaking them. How does it feel for you to finally get your 4th of the season, ending off at a high around here in Silverstone, at your home Grand Prix?
Yeah, really happy to get the win to finish the season. Really happy with the race pace, especially in the wet, obviously. I might have made the wrong call to start on the mediums, because I was expecting it to dry up by the end, but it didn't. So I was saving a set of fresh softs for them, but obviously it wasn't meant to be. And with my teammate pitting on like the right lap for it, I had to go an extra lap. I didn't lose too much, but it might have helped me a little bit, because they had to do 1 extra lap on a dry/wet track on the inters. That probably shaved off a lot of wear on their tyres. But yeah, I was able to press on somehow at some amazing pace, which I don't know where it came from, but I managed to get my teammate and then managed to push on to get to Caname. I think he was saving quite early on. Maybe might have been like just the worst lap to pick, because you don't know if you're going to get to the end or not, but most of us got there. Unfortunate for Rising Star in the end, but at the same time, well done to Caname for winning the title as well. The P2.
Oh, poor Rising Star, man. He was in 2nd place, did a fantastic Caname. Then the last lap, he got a puncher just like that, and it's like Lewis Hamilton type shit when he got a puncher as well.
I was scared because I know it's about like 75% is the territory for getting a puncture, and it's always RNG. It's not how you treat your tires. It's always RNG. You don't know when you're gonna get it. You could drive as careful as you want, and it could just suddenly go. But yeah, I was being as careful as possible, anyways, and yeah, managed to keep it at just 75 to come across the line.
Yeah, that was very important because I knew the Inters would have a bit of trouble to go towards the end. I was expecting maybe a puncher from some people, but only one person, which was Rise of Star. Rise of Star, you've got to feel sorry for him as well because wanted to end the podium on the season on a high, overtaking Nordis the championship, but unfortunately Rise of Star dropped all the way back with that puncher and he couldn't get a Mercedes 1-2 to ride it off as well to get his third podium of the season. Rise of Star has been a mega driver this season, but unfortunately he's still searching for his first win. But Jensen, mate, how do you rate the season overall? Do you think if you turned up to every single race this season, you could have been a championship fighter? Because your pace every time we go around the circuit, around the globe, has always been something to watch out for.
Yeah, definitely I'd say I'd be in the championship fight. I don't know if I'd win it though. Obviously, Mexico and Singapore were two bad races of DNF, and well, I accidentally murdered a driver or two in Singapore. So yeah. It's the odd two bad races, so you never know how the likes of Miami, Netherlands, and all that could have gone. So who knows? I'd definitely say I'd be in the championship fight, but yeah, I don't mind. Just turn up to have fun, have a good race with everyone, and that's what's kind of happened all season. So yeah, I'd only say a good job to everyone that's raced this season. And yeah, hopefully more of it to come next year.
Hopefully as well, and thank you so much for your contributions this season, all the good battles as well, and your 3 wins in the first half of the season, then you've got your last one in here in Silverstone. What a way to round off as well the championship in season 17. But if we do talk about next game in season 18, Jensen, where do you think you are? Well, nobody knows really, but what's your expectations going to S4 Division 1 this season with a brand new game, brand new everything? Let's see how it goes.
Well, this is the first time in like 2 years I'm actually pushing on a new game, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. I've played the beta, it feels good. It feels tons better than this game for sure, but yeah, hopefully be in the same sort of mix that I am at the moment, so yeah.
Well, no matter what game it is, you're always there, mate. Ivan, you got any questions for Jensen?
Nope.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough, but yeah, we're right off there.
Yeah. There's one last thing as well. Thank you for the whole season, Jamie, for the whole commentary. You've been nothing short of exceptional with that. Like even by yourself for most of the races, you've done a really good job. I think that should be taken note.
Thank you very much, mate. I do try my best, despite it being stressful sometimes and everything going on at once. But yeah, I do appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much for the kind words. We move on to Oscar. So, Oscar, mate, the podium pretty much opened up for you on the last lap of the Grand Prix when one of them got a puncher, which was Rise of Star then. So, what was going through your head? Did you think that was any chance in the Grand Prix you could get a podium? Because you did make your way through the field quickly, but sort of to calm down a little bit when you were in P4, P5 territory.
Yeah, I didn't really expect much. I haven't played the game since last race. It hasn't been very long, but I've been playing different sim racing games, which it took a bit to get used to F1 again. When the race started, I felt pretty good about it. But yeah, as you said, once the rain came, I slowed down a bit and couldn't make as much progress.
Oscar, I saw you making mistakes out of turn 3 and turn 4 as well, and cops. You were going off there a few times. So, were you trying to push the absolute limit of the car to try and get close towards Rise of Star name?
No, not really. I felt like I was holding back, just couldn't go faster. I was just holding on, to be honest.
Fair enough, mate. Followed a fantastic race for you to make your way through the field, and also as well, unexpected podium towards the end with the tyres dropping off of Rise of Star. How was the tyre life for you towards the Grand Prix? Were you feeling any slight drop off there?
Yeah, my tyres were destroyed. I got no clue how I didn't get a puncture. But yeah, due to all the mistakes I was making, I crossed the line on 87% tyre wear. So yeah, for the last 3 laps I was expecting a puncture, but yeah, on the right side of the RNG this time.
Well, mate, every time you reserved, you always start at the back of the field and you always make your way through as well, fantastically as well. But may not be the result you wanted today, but every single time you raced here, Oscar, it's been an absolute pleasure to watch you go to the field and upset people's days as well. And with you and Volokongren and Hazara sharing the track in the Dutch GP, it was truly a special moment as well, with all three of you with high caliber sharing one track together. But yeah, Oscar, well done this season, mate. I know you reserved, so you don't really care much about the points, but you did fantastic in every single race you appeared to this season. You did a good job, mate. Well done.
Thank you. And like Jensen said, thanks for commentating all season.
You're welcome, mate. And Ivan, you got any questions for Oscar?
Nope.
Fair enough, man. So, we just one more driver to speak to, and that driver is the season 17 world champion. It is Knabe who wins the championship. Mate, how are you feeling right now? You must be absolutely ecstatic with all the pressure that's been sustained on your shoulders, especially in Las Vegas, where it got a bit stressful for you after getting taken out in towards 13. But you kept your composure, kept it nice and cool, and you are the champion. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. Yeah, crazy ending. I saved a lot of tires. I was probably saving for like 50% of the race. Cause my tire wear was insane. Like my tire wear was really bad at the start. I had a good pace. And thankfully I saved enough tires to not get a puncture like Rising Star. Sadly, he got one. And I ended on with what was it, about 80% tire wear. So I did a pretty good job with that. I was also in a party with racing, and he was giving me comms and stuff like that. And overall, though, it was a good race. I did everything I needed to do. At the same time, like, yeah, I did want to win, but at the same time, I wanted to just focus on the championship. So I did let Jensen through. I didn't really want to fight him at all. I had no interest in fighting him. So mainly my whole point was to just make it to the end, because I knew if I kept on pushing, I wasn't gonna end. It wasn't gonna end well. I was gonna get a puncture for sure. So I just saved my tires and hope for the best, because like Jensen said, it's RNG. So it doesn't matter if you're pushing or not. You will get a puncture. Doesn't matter what you're doing. But yeah, no, it was a good race. GG's to Fireblaze. Crazy season. A lot of ups and downs. But yeah, I did the best I could, and I got it. So.
Mate, you made your statements very clear towards the beginning of the season. You had one DNF like the Australian Grand Prix, but after that, mate, you've done absolutely fantastically as well. I didn't expect you to be the G favourite going towards the season after Hurricane and Blue Rocket and all those other people who were up there as well. But ever since you appeared last season, mate, in Japan, you won the Grand Prix ahead of both Red Bulls and picked up podiums along the way as well. So you have been a force to be reckoned with, and this season you've definitely shown what champion you are as well, with your excellent pace, skill, consistency as well, and time management as well, and the also strategy is sometimes paying off as well in your favour. But this season has been absolutely fantastic for you, mate, and I'm very happy that you got the championship, because you deserve it, and you've shown some really good fortitude against the other drivers.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, of course it was pretty hard getting that win for Japan with Nico, so I was really glad I got a win at least in this season. Miami, of course, was another thing, right, with Volkongen, but you know.
Yeah.
Racing against Volkongen is a big thing, right? And I mean, compared to how much I've improved this season, I'm pretty glad. How I've done, you know. But yeah, for sure. I'm happy as well. I'm ecstatic. That's for sure.
You've done a KK Rosberg and Mike Hawthorne for winning one race in that championship year, and you've repeated it once again, Kaname, as well. That shows you on paper, it shows you how much consistency you do have, and your ability as well to get all those podiums and take away the championship points when you need to as well. While Farblaze has his moments as well, you also accelerated, because I remember every single time you and Farblaze came together on track, you were fighting for a podium, at least 4 of them as well, back in Hungary, the Netherlands, and Singapore and Monza. You were always so close together, and you just edged him out every time ahead of Farblaze as well. Did you start to feel nervous going towards this Grand Prix when it started raining?
Knowing how I am, I'm always good in the wet. Especially when, of course, like in the dry, I was pretty quick. And of course, going into the rain, you don't always know if you're gonna be quick or not. But from past from past races, I've done pretty well in the rain. I've always done pretty good, and I knew if I just did everything cleanly, and if I just did everything how I am, like, you know, just had good pace, decent pace, I would be fine, and I had good pace. Only problem was my tire was crazy, so. But overall, yeah, I did have some nerves going into when I saw there was gonna be rain in the race, but you know, I did get the pole, and I was very glad I got that, and yeah, it's what won me the championship after all. So.
Unfortunately, mate, we didn't really get to hear from you. But in Las Vegas, when you fell to the back of the field and lost the end plate and had to pit again with no safety cars, what was going through your head at the time? Obviously, you could be very, very annoyed, but did it start to affect your confidence a little bit, your mentality going towards the last few races, knowing that fire place was closer and closer?
Yeah, for sure. I was gutted. You know, in these races, anything can happen, of course, right? And just getting taken out in such a close championship just didn't really help. Thankfully, in this league, 10th place gives you a good amount of points. So like it wasn't, I didn't lose a championship lead, but I lost the gap I had, a comfortable gap, which was like I think 9 points. And I worked pretty hard for that, and just, you know, getting taken out. Yeah, I was really mad at the time, but I knew if I just kept calm and, you know, just do what I usually do with my consistent pace, and, you know, I'll be fine. And yeah, it definitely was fine now. So.
Indeed it is. It rewarded you towards the end as well. And what would you pick out your best moment to be in here in SFR? What's your favourite moment? What race did you enjoy the most?
Oh yeah, the Japan win. That was, I mean, but I mean, Nico did push me off track and give me a 3-second penalty, so I knew that was gonna get removed. But that fight with Nico was like amazing. It was pretty insane. Like everything was, it was hard racing but clean, and it was definitely my best race this season. Of course, my only win. I could say Miami as well. Miami was really good, but I think Japan was definitely the one for me.
What a massive contrast from last season, because last season champion Harry Kane got 11 wins, this season champion 1 win, so 10 wins lower, but the consistency form has been there as well, with other people not attending, other people making mistakes as well, has seen themselves out of the championship as well. But Kaname, well, I didn't know what to expect from you this season, mate, because I knew you had some good pace, you definitely showed it in Japan last season and elsewhere, but you just like, this season you just turned your head on and just yeah, he's shown a good story of resilience as well, raw pace and redemption. Because you joined midway through last season and you scored a breakaway win in Japan along with 2 podiums. But yeah, this season you've really shown what you're capable of as well. In good combat to combat, not being under pressure as well. I don't think I've seen you come under pressure once this season. You've done a fantastic job overall. But sometimes your strategy calls was a bit questionable, but at the same time though, you still made it work towards the end. So yeah, it's been a fantastic season overall, Kaname. What do you expect on the F1 game this year?
It should be a bit better than this year's. I mean, I hope so, right? But I mean, I'm pretty excited for it. You know, it's F1 24 had ups and downs, and definitely hasn't been the best. But I hope 25 is a bit better than 24. That's for sure.
Well, thank you very much, Kaname, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you, despite having difficult races in the last 2 races. But you came back with a bang here in Silverstone to finish in P2 and took the championship as well. So you're the new SFR Season 17 champion, and we'll see you next season, mate.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
And also, Ivan, you got any questions for Kaname?
Yes, I do. I have one more question. As you just said, you're very happy with how much you've improved on this game. Looking forward into the next game. How are you willing to improve much more and going for even more championships in SFR, for example?
Probably not. I am gonna start working soon. So I just finished high school stuff. So I am gonna probably not be racing on SFR anymore. I'll probably be reserved from now on. But you know, I'll definitely look to improve enough, and hopefully I'll be able to attend more races and have some fun again, because SFR has definitely been one of the best leagues I've ever been in. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty much it. Yeah, sadly I won't be able to be a full-time driver again, but I'll definitely be here. I won't leave or anything like that. So yeah.
Please don't leave, because you've been an absolutely wonderful addition, and every single race as well. I do love speaking to you. So yeah, I hope you stay around for a lot longer.
Yeah.
But Kaname, I don't know if you noticed, mate, but Fireblaze is a close friend of mine. So deep down, I wanted him to win the championship. Obviously, from a neutral point of a commentator, he got to remain neutral. So yes, I was trying to remain neutral. But yeah, nothing against you, mate. Fireblaze is a very, very close friend of mine. So yeah, it's a shame to lose out the championship. But yeah, it's you who wins, and it was you who came out on top.
Yeah, I know Fireblaze is pretty well known in this league, and you know, he was definitely a good rival of mine throughout the whole season. I mean, like we said, the first like 6 races we were fighting for podiums, and I always edged out in front of him. But yeah, it's just GG's to him. He's been consistent, and he's been doing really well, and he was really good. He's a really good driver as well. So always clean, and yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it.
You could definitely tell, because in the 4 races you beat him to a podium. It was so close between you two as well for the final step of the podium, and you just edged him out all 4 times. And those little things can have a massive consequence for the championship, and it has today as well. But despite your downfall back in Las Vegas, when it all went away from you and making a collision with Hussein, who put you in the wall, you came back strong here. And you win the Grand. You finish in 2nd place and get the championship as well on the podium. What a mega result! Maybe 1st place you would have wanted, but Jensen was a bit too quick for you, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was a bit too quick. I was more mainly focused on the championship at the end of the day, but even if I tried to hold him back, he would have still won. So yeah.
Thank you very much, and Ivan, thank you very much for commentating with me. You've done an absolute amazing job in this race. I hope you enjoyed it.
I did enjoy it, and thanks so much for it was an honor to commentate with you, and hopefully we'll do it
many more
next
times
season as well. Yeah, exactly.
So that's the SFR concluded for you right there. So Kaname's Rise to the Top of Season 70 was a story of resilience, raw pace and redemption and consistency. After joining the league midway through last season and scored a breakaway win in Japan alongside 2 podiums, he returned the season with unfinished business and quite determination around the circuit. And from the opening rounds, Kaname made his intentions very clear. Consistently battled the front, refused to go back down in wheel-to-wheel combat. He was fearless in strategy, bold on the track and relentless under pressure. He narrowly edged out Fireblaze in 4 critical races this season, back in Hungary, Belgium, Monza and Singapore, where it's just a few hundredths of a second makes all the difference you need to win the championship. Those 5 moments can bring the championship fight well and truly alive. His win in Japan and high-scoring consistency elsewhere gave just enough to take you towards the final race of the season. And at Silverstone, when the pressure was at its peak, Kaname delivered, and he scored the result he needed to become the SFR champion. From mid-season addition to full-time masterclass, Kaname's journey is now complete. He's a champion at last, while Fireblaze will reflect on next season as well. And his consistency has been fantastic, but next season he'll be looking to try and get a race winner win, because I think the last race for him was season 15 at the Mexican Grand Prix. That was his last race win there, but Kaname's only got 1 this season, and it shows you the consistency that all the drivers need as well to be up there in the championship. But we'll see you all later now. We move on to the F1 25 game. I'm not quite sure whether Canada is announced or not, but hopefully we'll be back with a bang next season on a brand new game, and we'll see if people have adapted to the game very quickly. Will we see some new faces towards the top of the field? Will we see any surprises? Can Kaname defend his championship? Can Harry Kane come back as well? What about Laser, who's been in SFR for such a long time? We've got a lot of drivers here who are very good and very worthy of contending for a championship, but we'll see you all next game then. It is the Imola Grand Prix this weekend, and as you know, that Franco Colapinto has replaced Jack Doohan as well, so let's see how he does in the Alpine in Imola. But unfortunately for Jack Doohan, he's out, so I really hope you guys do enjoy the Imola Grand Prix. Is it Verstappen? Is it Norris or Piastri? But we don't know yet, but we'll see you all later. Goodbye for now. For SFR, it's been an absolute pleasure pleasure to commentate with you all. Division 3, 2 and 1. And what a roller coaster it's been as well. Full of ups and downs to expect as the seasons go by. It's not always perfect. You can't always be perfect, but I think we've done an amazing job this season as well to give you all the live action, the commentators as well, keep you up to date with everything. And I'm really glad and proud to be a part of this league, and happy to be a commentator as well, because I've commentated for this league for about 2 years now, and I have the pleasure to speak to different people. The community is very, very nice as well, and I'm very happy that I'm a integral part of the league as well. Being a commentator, because I get to see all the amazing action between all the fantastic drivers as well, to go for it in the races, especially go for first place, but it's so tight this season. But Harry Kane, last season champion, has been defeated, but what will he do next game? Will he come back stronger? We'll find out later. But yes, final words from me. Thank you very much once again, SFR, for having me as your main commentator for 3 divisions, and thank you to my co-commentators, Ivan, Tibber, Milan Langer, or everybody else, Energy Dan, Laser, Simo, Madsel, and everybody else who has commentated with me this season. It's been a pleasure to work alongside all of you, and I'll see you all next season.